Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I wasn't going to talk about this. I really didn't want to because I didn't want to jinx the series, but everyone and their mother has made a video on this topic now, so I figure it's only right that I do it. Some of you guys have been even asking for it, and I was just like, you know what? Whatever, we'll do it. And that is my take on the Pacers-Bucks series. Now, I'm just going to off-rip say that the Pacers have a lot going in their favor. Obviously, we won the regular season matchup. We played them 5 times during the regular season, and we won 4 out of those 5 times. So, history is on our side, so to speak, with just the, recency bias and regular season record and stuff like that. Giannis is potentially, I think Giannis is definitely going to miss the first 2 games. Missing the first 3 games seems like a stretch. Now, the thing is, okay, Giannis not playing in those first 2 games is a big win for the Pacers. Now, obviously, we're a young team. Bucks obviously have more playoff experience than we do. But it's just the idea, like, not having Giannis is a big deal for the Bucks because even when they had Giannis, we were beating them. Like, Giannis was averaging 42 points a game against us in the regular season in those 5 meetings that we played against them, and we still ended up winning 4 out of those 5 times. So not having Giannis is potentially a really, we obviously know it's a big loss for them, but it's a big enough loss that it could cost them the series. I do not think Giannis is going to miss more than 2, maybe 3 games, especially if the Pacers go up 2-0 on the Bucks at home, because the first 2 games are going to be played in Milwaukee. First game is on Sunday, but there's a chance that, if we go up 2-0, Giannis is definitely playing the 3rd game. Now, if it's split and we win 1 and the Bucks win 1, they might sit him the 3rd game just to be sure, and then play him in games 4, 5, 6, and maybe 7, so on, so on and so forth, or what have you. But it's just the idea. Pacers have a lot going in their favor, and also the Bucks have not been the same team since Doc Rivers took over. Offensively, Giannis and Dame haven't clicked, I think, on the way that we all had expected. Obviously, Dame was traded late in the offseason last year, but really they just haven't clicked the way that we have all expected them to. I do not think they're a team that is going to win the championship. I just don't. I don't think they're better than Boston. I honestly think even if they played Philadelphia, right, in the Eastern Conference Finals or not in the semifinals, if they had to play the 76ers, I think they lose to the 76ers as well. Not the Eastern Conference Finals, the semifinals. If they were to play them in the semifinals, I think the 76ers still have enough to beat them. But the thing is, the Bucks are a very, discombobulated team at the moment. And they've really fallen off a cliff defensively. Ever since they got rid of Mike Budenholzer, their team has just fallen off a cliff defensively and has not recovered. Same thing with trading Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is arguably the best perimeter defender in the league, and there are players in the league who will say he is the best wing perimeter defender in the league. So, and Drew Holiday can, even though he as small as he is, he can defend multiple positions. So, yeah, the Bucks have more length. I'll give them that. Like in the front court, they got Brook Lopez, you got Giannis down there. They have Bobby Portis, who's scrappy. They're a more physical team than we are. So, yeah, there's the rebounding aspect of it as well that we really got to try to emphasize. We need to try to rebound the basketball well. So that's one part of the game that I'm really worried about. Offensively with the Pacers, not so much. Even though we lost Buddy Hield, we're still, I believe, 2nd in the NBA in offensive rating. So we're still capable of pouring it on teams when it comes to points, and I think that's where we might win this series if we do win it. I would really like to see them move the ball around like they did in the series that they've played them all regular season, where everybody's touching the ball, we're moving the ball around, people are getting involved. We win games when we do that. Now, it seems like that's like a blue moon. It happens once every 10 or 15 games, but in those games where everybody's involved, the ball is moving, people are getting open shots, we're not settling, we're not taking bad jumpers, we win those games, and that's happened against Boston once this year. It's happened against Milwaukee multiple times. It happened against Charlotte once. It happened against Detroit once. In those games where the team, like when the Pacers move the ball, they're a hard fucking team to beat. So it's just the idea, like, yeah, we're like kind of on the same level as the Bucks in a sense where both teams are not great at defense and both teams are really good at offense. However, I feel like we have more team chemistry than the Bucks when like I said, we're moving the ball around. Obviously, there's the rebounding battle, like I said, but I like our chances. I like our chances better than I feel like maybe a lot of the ESPN and NBA talking heads are giving us credit for. Obviously, I didn't want to make this video because there's been plenty of times in the past where we beat teams in the regular season, like sweep them in the fucking regular season, or, we beat them 3-1 or 4-0 them in the regular season. Then we get to the playoffs and we can't hold their fucking jock strap for whatever reason. So that was part of the reason I didn't want to make this video, but it also feels like, there's some people counting us out. Colin Cowherd specifically. Colin Cowherd's take on it was, the Pacers are a young team. They're coming up, and I understand that. It just, I really am curious to see how this team plays in a game 6 and a game 7, or if we get to that closeout game, like say we go up 3-1, right, in a game 5. Like I'm really curious to see how this team plans to close the Bucks out, because all year we've had this back and forth where we'll be up in the first half and then give up in the second half and the other team wins, or we get our ass kicked in the first half and then end up going on a fucking tear in the second half. So I've become very weary of games where we're ahead of the other team in the first half, because a lot of times we don't end up keeping that lead, and then we let teams back in it, and then we end up losing. That happened a lot in the regular season with teams that are below 500 basketball teams. I say this in what feels like every video, but we lost the most games of any playoff team to teams with a below 500 record. We lost, I think, 13 or 14 games to teams with a record below 500. And so, it's gotten to a point now where in a lot of those games, when we get up in the first half or whatever, we just give up in the second half and lose. We can't do that against Milwaukee. This is playoff basketball. They've got a lot of guys on their team that have playoff experience, and Pat Connaughton, Giannis, Dame, they have a roster of guys who have done this before. And we've got, I hate to say it, but we got a lot of guys that are wet behind the ears when it comes to playoff experience, including our best player, Tyrese Halliburton. Miles has obviously been in the playoffs before, but it's just the idea, we've got, Siakam's been to the playoffs before, TJ McConnell's been to the playoffs before, so we do got some vets, James Johnson, you know what I'm saying? We got some guys on our team who have been here before, but a lot of the most important guys on our team have never been there before, so it's just the idea. It's going to be a very, very interesting series, and I'm excited for it. I'm really, really, I got something I got to do Sunday, but I'm hoping to be back by the time that game comes on. I have to look at the time for it, but it's just the idea, this first game I feel like is going to be very telling as well. It's going to be the first time Tyrese and all these other guys are playing in a playoff game. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose the first game, simply because, playoff basketball is an entirely new concept to guys like Jalen Smith, Isaiah Jackson, Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Shepherd, a lot of, even, we don't have Ben Mathurin, but if we did, it'd be a new experience for Ben Mathurin. I don't think Aaron Nesmith has even played in a playoff game. I could be wrong about that, don't quote me, but I don't think Aaron Nesmith has really even had much playoff experience. So, there's a lot riding on this, you know what I'm saying? Siakam is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Siakam is going to have to be the man amongst the boys out there on our roster as a guy who's won an NBA Finals chip before. It's times like this we kind of wish we still had Bruce Brown, but, we traded Siakam for him, and Siakam is an all-NBA guy. So, while I don't expect Pascal Siakam to take over the game, he's going to have to be, him, Miles, they're going to have to be leaders. Like Miles and Siakam are going to have to be the guys that rally the troops in this playoff run. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. Like Miles is going to have to rally the troops, but it's time. Miles has been doing his thing to close the regular season, especially against the Atlanta Hawks. Like towards the end of the season, Miles Turner really started to come on, but yeah, Siakam, Miles, like especially Siakam in these first 2 games, Siakam's going to have to pour it on, man. If there's no Giannis, like Siakam's got to go. Siakam's got to take full advantage of them not having Giannis and maybe having Bobby Portis play on him or somebody like that. If he can take full advantage of that and we can go up 2-0, I think we win the series. Honestly, this is a series that could go to anybody. But if we go up 2-0 early on, and hopefully we can, with Giannis most likely missing 2 games, if we can go up 2-0 on the Bucks, I think we win the series. But if it gets split at like 1-1 and then Giannis comes back the 3rd game, or if it gets, if we get down 1-2, it doesn't look that good. Like at that point, it's like, like we're gonna have to see how the team reacts. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. I'm glad we're back in the playoffs, but yeah, like the vets on our team are really going to have to step up because the going's going to get rough. We saw what happened in the in-season tournament, where teams started realizing if you double Tyrese Halliburton, we're not a very good basketball team. And that if you think they're not going to remember that and bring that out in the playoffs, you're wrong. Okay? Like, it's going to happen to the Knicks, too, because they're missing Julius Randle. Guess what's going to happen to Jalen Brunson? They're going to make other guys beat them. So, even though I'm saying, like, Siakam's got to take full advantage, like, Halliburton is going to have to learn how to, like, deal with double teams and, not turning the ball over and, not getting foul calls that he would normally get and not getting open jump shots. Like, they're going to try to eliminate Tyrese Halliburton in every way possible. And I promise you right now, the Bucks front office, the Bucks team, okay, they're looking at tape from that in-season tournament and saying, how can we shut down Tyrese Halliburton? If we can shut down Tyrese Halliburton, we can beat the Pacers. So that's something that I'm hoping the Pacers are looking over in this week and working out plans for, because I have a feeling out the gate they're going to throw double teams at Tyrese Halliburton and try to get him uncomfortable, being that this is his first ever playoff series. Same thing with all the young guys on our roster. They could run a double team on everybody just to try to get people nervous and just get them out of their comfort zone, so to speak. You're already out of your comfort zone by playing a playoff series or a playoff game in which you've never done it before. If we can double team you and make you fuck up, they're gonna try to do it. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I hope the team is doing this week, is just reviewing play-in footage and saying, like, we could have did this better against the Lakers. I understand that we made it to the final game against the Lakers and all that, but it's just the idea that play-in tournament was very telling for this team. And I'm just hoping that they learned something from it. And because if the Bucks come out doubling Tyrese Halliburton, it's going to have to be the Siakam Miles Turner show. And I hope Miles Turner and Siakam are ready for that. I think Siakam will be fine, but if they shut down Halliburton, Miles or Nesmith or somebody else is going to have to step up, and I just don't know who that other person is. So I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. Tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report. And out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.